Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name is Anashi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode, we read Pesterbot, Curiously Buoyant Amphibian, The Utter West, Laser Shark Fetuses, and Preparation. Today we're going to be starting with Extraterrestrial Tube Station, and we're going to go from there. So, it's Euclid. As the station containing SCP-1375 has been decommissioned, no public cover is required. The specific section of tunnel containing 1 has been renovated, sealed, and converted into an airlock with an attached on-site research laboratory, or laboratory. Access to or experiment with 1375 requires prior approval from at least 2 Level 3 senior researchers, and all personnel entering 2 must be trained and certified in the use of Foundation EVA suits. Description: SCP-1375-1 is a steel service door in the decommissioned blank tube station of the London Underground. Historical records indicate that no anomalous properties were present when the station was decommissioned in 1994. When opened, one contains a standing space-time aperture to SCP-1375-2. 2 is a near-exact copy of the blank station prior to its decommission, located on an unknown extraterrestrial moon of similar mass and composition to Ganymede, orbiting a blue-green gas giant, which itself is in orbit around a transitional phase red giant star. The location of this solar system is currently unknown. Astronomical observation with the goal of identifying its location is ongoing. 2 differs from its non-anomalous original in the following ways. 2 is reversed with respect to 1, that is, 2 is symmetrical with the original station, with 1 as its axis of symmetry. 2 exhibits tool marks in its construction that is consistent with the types of tools used to construct blank station, but the precise configuration of the tool marks is inconsistent. 2's signage, in addition to being mirrored, contains many spelling mistakes as well as languages other than English. At least 2 of these languages are unknown and currently indecipherable. 2's exit to the surface is in an unfinished state consistent with incomplete construction rather than destruction. In addition to being open to the lunar surface, the lower atmospheric pressure of 2 results in a net negative pressure differential at 1. Prior to the installation of an airlock, this caused rapid decompression in the section of blank station in which 1 is located when it was opened. Information regarding artifacts and documents discovered in 2 are documented, stored, and available for analysis in the Site Blank Non-Anomalous Item Storage Facility. Addendum 1 Researcher Note: after several months of analysis, the following data has been gathered by exploration teams. Exploration of the area around SCP-1375-2 has found no additional structures, artifacts, or signs of life. Furthermore, atmospheric analysis of the moon on which it is located has yielded no sign of any organic components that would indicate that life exists anywhere on the body. Design of an autonomous UAV capable of flying in the reduced atmospheric pressure and circumnavigating the moon is ongoing. Preliminary astronomy reports indicate that the planet that SCP-1375-2 orbits is one of the approximately 11 planets within the star system, and that none of these planets or their observed moons appear to be capable of sustaining life. Spectroscopic analysis of materials used in the construction of 2 has yielded an unusually high level of mercury and radon, but are otherwise consistent with its terrestrial original. Dr. Blank, Senior Researcher. Addendum 2 Notable Recovered Objects. So, reference. I'm just going to be reading the other half of the reference numbers. 38, discovered in a men's restroom. A copy of the Evening Standard newspaper entirely in reverse, but otherwise identical to those printed on December 27th, 1993. 62, found on the tracks below the second platform. A handwritten note on a paper napkin, 1930, don't forget, written in reverse. 88, affixed to a wall near the entrance. A reverse printed advertisement poster for a musical concert. All text is otherwise identical to the actual posters, however the band members pictured are entirely devoid of facial features. I'm going to assume it was the Backstreet Boys. 109. No, they weren't a thing in 1994, never mind. I don't know what band it would have been then. Found on a shelf in a janitor's supply room. Box of construction screws with reverse threading composed entirely of high-strength titanium alloy. This is the only construction material discovered in 2 with composition not consistent with its terrestrial counterpart. And 133, discovered on lunar surface 3 meters outside the main entrance. A single unopened can of something, brand low-sodium canned kernel corn, confirmed to contain kernel corn via ultrasound analysis. Text printed on the label is in Portuguese, but it's otherwise consistent with those manufactured prior to 2003. Object is also significant as the only object recovered from 2 that is not in reverse. So somebody left a can of Portuguese corn on whatever moon this is. Interesting. Next up is the documentary camcorder, which is safe, such that it is. This is going to be a Blair Witch Project thing. SCP-1376 is stored in a standard secure locker at Site-19. Experimentation with it may only be performed with prior permission from at least one Level 3 senior researcher, and all recordings created using it must be thoroughly inspected for classified information. All recordings created using 1376 are available for research via Site-19's secure database. Description: SCP-1376 is a yellow Sanyo VPC WH1YL waterproof camcorder manufactured circa 2009 and is outwardly unremarkable except for some minor scuffs and scratches as a result of extended use. Whenever a video recording is created using it, the resulting audio track is narrated by a male voice with a British accent in the manner of a nature documentary through unknown means. The audio modification is consistent with professional-grade post-processing and audio mixing, and even includes fading in and out of the original audio as appropriate to the subject matter recorded. Still images created using 1376 are unaffected. 1376 came to the attention of the Foundation at some point in 2009 as a result of a notification from Automated Systems Monitoring Instant Messaging Communication in which Redacted, the original owner and purchaser, attempted to explain its anomalous properties to an acquaintance. Redacted was detained and questioned by a Foundation response team who claimed to have purchased 1376 off the shelf at a local store. Subject was released after being administered a Class A amnestic and given a replacement unit of identical make. Disassembly and inspection of the components of 1376 has yielded no irregularities or abnormal components. All units of identical make from the same production batch of 1376 have been tracked down and inspected, and none have exhibited the same anomalous properties. Addendum 1. Log of notable recordings. At some point in 2009, it was it's either a minute or an hour, and 17 something, seconds. A recording created by the original owner of his wife, presumably as a test of its capability after initial purchase. Subject is in the living room of their home and conversing with Redacted. Dialogue is faded out and unable to be deciphered. And here we see his mate in the heart of their den. Extremely protective, the female will go to extreme lengths to protect her offspring, even resorting to violence if necessary. Although the pair are quite close and affectionate, she will later spurn his advances, citing exhaustion with her daily rounds. Okay, the next one was 49 seconds at some point in 2009. A static recording of a tennis ball placed on a table. As noon approaches, it grows increasingly confused, as the creatures around it show no sign of using it for its intended purpose. Struggling to attract their attention, it becomes ever more distressed as it finds itself completely immobile. The next one is a minute and 36 seconds. A rhesus monkey kept in a cage at Site-19's animal testing laboratory. Subject walks around its cage listlessly before sitting down and eating fruit. By the 4th day, this male has all but surrendered to the grim reality of its fate. It continues to patrol its cage, hoping for any chance that its captors may have been careless, but it has no such luck. By nightfall, it will begin to feel the first symptoms of data expunged. Research note: all subsequent recordings created using 1376 are to be screened for possible classified content and sensitive data redacted as necessary. And 2010 at some point, it's a minute 15 seconds, an incidental recording of Dr. Blank made by Dr. Blank during unrelated experimentation. Despite the male's calm facade, his lust for his female companion is extraordinary. The degree to which his obsession reaches has become nearly unhealthy, dominating his thoughts at every turn. Wild fantasies course through his mind when he watches her when she doesn't notice. Researcher note: Doctor was treated for a broken nose after being attacked by Dr. Blank, and both researchers have been placed on administrative leave for a period of no less than 2 weeks pending disciplinary action and transfer to another site. Good job, Cameron. Good job. Automaton Parliament. Parliament like the government, or Parliament like the band? It's Euclid, so probably the government. Instances of 1377-1 are to be preserved after initial intake and observation in the C wing of the Site-23 morgue, which has been repurposed for containment protocols and retrofitted with necessary security infrastructure. Access to one instances for experimentation requires written authorization from the research director and the Cybernetics Initiative Committee. During the appearance of a new iteration of one, designated liaisons from security organizations responsible for national legislators will contact the research director immediately. The research director will then relay instructions to MTF Kappa 71, Roberto's Rules of Order, which will either neutralize and contain one directly or direct Foundation security assets in closest proximity to the event to do so. Due to the politically sensitive nature of 1377 events, use of amnestic drugs on witnesses during subsequent information control efforts is to be minimalized. See Protocol 1377 Solon documentation for more details. Is it in here? Nope. All information control procedures related to 1377 must be approved by the research director prior to implementation. Description: SCP-1377 is a phenomenon affecting world legislative bodies. Beginning in 1952 and continuing into the present day, a humanoid automaton of varying physical characteristics, hereby referred to as an instance of one, will make its way from an unknown origination point to an official session of a national legislative body, present a set of forged credentials identifying itself as a member of that body, and attempt to address the chamber. In all cases, the forged credentials have identified one as a representative of a fictitious constituency. I feel like I said it right. Within that nation's jurisdiction. Examples include impersonations of an MP of the United Kingdom Parliament from Lockbarrow, a Chilean deputy representing the Camino Desconocido region, Desconocido, I guess, a Botswana assembly member from Nwande West, and a United States senator representing the state of Keswick. One instances are composed of living organic tissue and bear a loosely analogous resemblance to Homo sapiens. However, the anatomy of one varies significantly from that of humans. Specimens possess musculature and connective tissue similar to H. sapiens, but lack any discernible internal organs, instead featuring an indeterminate fleshy mass where a human's thoracic cavity would ordinarily be. Additionally, one specimens have a skeletal structure composed of tissue resembling heart and cartilage. This is believed to account for one's erratic and halting movements. DNA analysis confirms that one matches no biological organism currently known to the Foundation. Because of the lack of data on one specimens prior to the emergence, development of these organisms is poorly understood. However, each one instance has ceased life function approximately 12 to 18 hours after emergence. Currently, 27 instances of one have been documented in 24 nations since the first known occurrence on April 23, 1952. All instances of one have been recovered and taken into Foundation custody, with the exception of SCP-1377-01.14, see Incident 1, which is not here, so we can't. If allowed to proceed into the legislative chamber at which the specimen emerges, one will make a speech. The content of this speech has varied greatly between instances of one. The first observed occasion consisted of 1.3 vocalizing a series of static-like screeches and electronic tones. 1.7 addressed the Supreme People's Council of South Yemen with an 8-minute imitation of aggressive hooting noises typically made by Gorilla Berenjay. And most recently, 1.27 was documented at the German Reichstag, engaging in vocalizations that resembled the sound of human speech, that while resembling the sound of human speech, contained no discernible linguistic structure or pattern. So eventually they're going to show up and start actually speaking. Interesting. A trip to the mall. It was Euclid, but now it's been neutralized. I guess they finished their trip to the mall. SCP-1378 has been marked off as off limits to civilians under the pretense of chemical contamination until such a time that a more permanent contaminant solution can be devised. All Foundation personnel on site are to maintain cover as a government-sanctioned cleanup staff, and all unauthorized individuals attempting to gain access to the location are to be detained, questioned, and administered a Class B amnestic if deemed necessary by on-site security personnel. As of blankety blank blank, no anomalous phenomena has been recorded on site for a period of 12 months, and as such, it has been reclassified neutralized. Local observation posts have been notified to monitor reports in case of resurgence. All on-site personnel have been reassigned, and the property has been returned to local ownership until further notice. Description: SCP-1378 is the former site of the Redacted Mall, a small shopping center located somewhere which was destroyed by a fire at some point. Officially, the cause of the fire was recorded as having been due to an electrical fault in the central HVAC system that quickly spread throughout the building. Civilian casualties numbered 13 dead, 32 injured, and 18 missing and presumed dead. Human subjects within the former perimeter of the building, particularly within the eastern wing, have reported numerous anomalous phenomena, most notably auditory hallucinations identified as heavily distorted human voices and periodic temperature spikes in various locations. So it's haunted then. Attempts to record this audio onto electronic media have failed, but corroboration between affected subjects has resulted in highly consistent transcripts of such phenomena, suggesting a common source for each such incident rather than a localized effect specific to each subject. A small number of individuals, particularly those with above average extrasensory sensitivity, have reported being able to see intangible humanoid and saurian figures with varying levels of clarity, and even a smaller number of individuals have received unexplained injuries in the form of burns of varying severity in conjunction with periods of thermal fluctuation. SCP-1378 was contained and classified following numerous reports of hallucinations and other unexplained phenomena by emergency first responders and disaster response specialists. As such, all such affected individuals were administered Class B amnestics and released following questioning, and current containment procedures were enacted shortly thereafter. Addendum 1, Log of Auditory Phenomenon. While the majority of auditory phenomena experienced by affected individuals have consisted of incoherent or highly distorted voices, personnel have consistently reported decipherable speech from two different unidentified female voices, a young girl, A, and an older woman, B, possibly related. The repetition of such speech indicates that they may have some form of hallucinatory echo of prior events, and the decipherable fragments from such events has been logged. Okay, reference 31, 28 seconds. And stay close to me, honey, okay? Okay. Alright, now hold my hand and don't let go. And don't talk to the indecipherable, okay? Yes, mommy. So it's not that much older woman. Okay, the next one, the little girl finds something awesome, and her mom's like, no, stay with me. Because they don't like having humans too close to them, so we show our respect by leaving them alone. Do you remember what I said about respecting indecipherable? Okay. Can I have an indecipherable? Yes, but only one, and don't let it touch your nose, okay? Okay. Indecipherable. Indecipherable. Other people live here? Sweetie, it's not polite to call ourselves special. We just have a gift that others don't, which lets us come here and see all of these wonderful things. Can we take Lisa here too? I want to show her all the stuff we can see. I'm sorry, sweetie, but we can't. Indecipherable. Indecipherable? Not. She's my best friend. Because they wouldn't understand our gift, sweetie. They would be afraid of us and try to take us away. And then we wouldn't be able to come here anymore. That's why we can't tell anyone, not even Lisa, okay? Okay. If you promise to be good, we'll indecipherable. Okay, so reference 108, something seems to be happening. Several subjects have inconsistently reported hearing either faint or distant screaming or the crackling of flames at this point. So I guess this one is when the fire is happening. Incident report. At some point, while performing an experiment on site, a research team led by Dr. R.M. was involved in an incident involving a previously undocumented phenomenon while taking readings near one of the few intact sections of the east wing of 1378. The following transcript is a combination of transcripts taken from the team's audio recording equipment as well as a corroboration from personnel on site at the time of the incident. Okay, I'm not getting anything from this, or I guess Dr. R.M. is probably a woman, since the lady thought it was their mom. Okay, I'm not getting anything from this area. Let's move the second set of sensors 20 meters north and try again. Mommy? And did you hear that? That was unusually clear. Yeah, I did. I might have gotten a spike on sensor 3, but I'm not sure. We'll have to take a look at the readout. Mommy, is that you? Okay, see if you can get a bearing on this one. Jay, let's move 5 through 8 and see if we can triangulate. Got it. Mommy, don't leave. Huh. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Where are you? I can't see you. I can't see you either. You're not my mommy, are you? We're recording, keep talking. No, but I'm here to help. What do you see? Who's outside? I I don't know. I took everyone else and mommy told me to stay here and hide, but they're coming closer. I don't know what to do. Listen, okay? We're going to do everything we can to help, but I need to know who you are and where you are right now. Call it in. Get the team over here right now. Okay. My name is Redacted. And my mommy took me to the mall, just the two of us, because she wanted to show me something that no one else could see. We went to the back and then through a weird door that had really weird colors, and there was all this awesome stuff, but then there was a fire everywhere and people were screaming, and my mommy told me to hide in here, and I heard her yelling, and I don't know what happened, and I'm scared. Okay, Redacted, can you remember where this door was? Do you think you can get there? I I don't know, I can't remember. They're right outside the door. I can hear their claws. I'm scared. Redacted, listen to me. You have to try to remember, okay? They're trying to open the door. I can hear them. Can you hear me? And then she screams. The doctor says, leave her alone! Major thermal spikes on sensors. Are you... Jesus Christ, get a medical team down here! Research note. Dr. RM was hospitalized with second and third degree burns across her arms and chest, as well as severe psychological distress as a result of this incident. A request for a disciplinary hearing to address potential unprofessional conduct is under consideration, but likely to be denied in light of mitigating circumstances. Following this incident, all anomalous phenomena related to 1378 have completely dropped off, but we're still not entirely sure what happened. But for the time being, we're out of leads. If we do not get any more readings within the next few months, we're going to have to call it quits on this one. So it sounds like there was something weird in the mall, and it killed everybody, and the little girl survived, but when they coaxed her out of the room, they got her too, and that was it. So I guess the mall wasn't haunted until it was. And that brings us to 1379, which I'm not going to read the title for, because... SCP-1379 is to be kept in a dedicated object containment locker at Site-19, off the floor and covered by a sheet. Is it the picture or the clown? Personnel should never make any remarks regarding 1379's appearance in order to avoid contamination. Personnel who find themselves contaminated by its influence are to report to their superiors for evaluation and reassigned to non-experimental work if deemed fit to continue their service to the Foundation. Further action will be taken on a case-by-case basis. At this time, cross-testing is forbidden between 1379 and other SCP objects which contain childlike abnormal entities, such as 97, 747, and or 899. Description: SCP-1379 is a canvas painting of a clown with two children, held in a frame roughly 1.2 meters by 1.5 meters in size. The object appears to be wholly destructible, and shows some minor scuffing and wear on the edges of the frame. Estimates put the date of creation somewhere in the mid to late 1980s. If any person or persons makes disparaging remarks regarding the content of the painting, they will feel a sharp, severe pain in the center of their chest within the following 5 to 10 minutes, located roughly behind the sternum. This pain will persist for roughly 20 minutes before suddenly ending. As of yet, testing has not determined a biological process or pattern responsible for this pain. After the cessation of pain, the person or persons who remarked on the content will be irreversibly mentally changed, depending on their biological age. Adult subjects, older than 16 to 17, will become unable to experience certain mental states, such as nostalgia and simpler forms of curiosity. Imaginative ability is also dramatically cut, with more creatively inclined, such as losing the will to create or perform as they did before exposure. Additionally, their sense of humor will be dulled, though not completely removed. They simply will no longer find most humorous situations as such. It should be noted that these individuals may find certain forms of humor, such as specific kinds of sarcasm and more sophisticated jokes or puns, entertaining if they did so before exposure. Adult subjects afflicted by 1379 are capable of living relatively normal lives post-exposure, and this effect diminishes later in life. The later in life one is affected. Prepubescent subjects will be affected more dramatically by the effect. After the cessation of the pain associated with 1379, young subjects will permanently become subdued and highly suggestible, with little interest towards anything not directly related towards their physical survival. The affected subjects will no longer show signs of any imaginative ability or creative potential, as well as an extremely stunted capability for learning non-physical, non-critical skills such as mathematics. Emotional response is extremely subdued as well, with individuals losing the will and ability to form bonds with others, react to humorous or depressing situations, or feel any sort of fear response. These traits will carry into adulthood, with individuals showing little to no changes in mental state as they progress in age. Individuals between 12 and 16 years of age will be affected less predictably than those age groups discussed above, though the effects on this age group appear to vary in accordance with mental maturity levels. Recovery. SCP-1379 was recovered from a yard sale 3 miles west of Port Huron, Michigan in 1999 after a high number of civilians were affected by its effect. A vast majority of the afflicted were aged 60 or older, and thus were treated with a mild classy amnesiacs, this is an older one if it's saying that, instead of amnestics, and released. The owner of the property where it was recovered had not seen the painting before and did not know where it came from. The origin is as of yet unknown. It looks like this one was posted June 2018, so this month will be the 5th anniversary of this being posted, again as evidenced by the fact that it says amnesiacs and not amnestics. So that's going to do it for this episode of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. I was considering making this a super episode, which is why I didn't do my normal intro, but I've decided against it. In the next episode, we'll be checking out Room 16, Cat's Cabinet, Save Our Souls, Partially Functioning Pataphorical Torment Chamber, and Taker of Turns. If you like this video, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.